It is Dr. Devojit Dutta in the screen, sir. Okay, can you start, sir?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
Yes, okay.
Hormit, meeting ID বিচাৰি আছে যে Hormit.
The meeting is synchronizing. গৰম পৰিছে মই ঠিকে আছো নাই ঘোড়া লাগিছে নাই লগা হয় পইচা নাই কি হল
Okay, Devojit.
হিমাদ্ৰী,
Sir?
হিমাদ্ৰী, তুমি প্ৰিন্সিপাল ছাৰৰ ইনাগুৰেল স্পীচৰ পিছত তুমি দিবা দেই। তাৰপিছত ৱেলকাম এড্ৰেছ দিব দেৱজিৎ ছাৰে।
ঠিক আছে স্যাৰ, হ'ব।
হ'ব।
স্যাৰ পাৰ্টিচিপেণ্টছ জইন কৰিছে, আপুনি ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব পাৰে।
অঁ নাই, 10 মিনিট ৰ'ব কৈছে আৰম্ভতে।
অ'কে।
কেইটাত কৰিম হৰমিত? 3 মিনিট। অঁ অঁ। After 2 minutes, we'll start today's session. Just wait for 2 minutes only.
এটা কি আছে হ্যাঁ
প্ৰিন্সিপাল ছাৰ ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব পাৰিম নেকি? প্ৰিন্সিপাল ছাৰ ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰিব পাৰিম নেকি?
ষ্টাৰ্ট কৰি দিয়া, টাইম হৈ গ'ল নহয়।
ঠিক আছে। So we are going to start today's session, the national webinar on ethnic governance and freedom movement of India, jointly organized by Department of Political Science and Department of History, Golaghat Commerce College, Golaghat, Assam, in collaboration with IQAC, Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Golaghat Commerce College. So namaskar, good morning to you all. Myself, Bhaskar Kakoti, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Golaghat Commerce College, Golaghat, Assam. I would like to welcome you to the online national seminar or national webinar on ethnic governance and freedom movement of India. The formal welcome address will be delivered by Dr. Devajit Dutta, Head of the Department, Political Science, Golaghat Commerce College. As we all know, that the present situation of the globe is not at all stable. It is almost 6 months past and deadly COVID-19 smashed most of the parts of the world. The socio-economic, educational, and cultural scenario of most of the countries are pathetic. Our India too badly affected from different angles by the corona pandemics. But as it is said, the show must go on. We, the people associated with education, small or large, join hands and try to exercise a little bit of educational activities with the help of this online webinar. Department of Political Science and Department of History, Golaghat Commerce College, jointly arranged this webinar according to the suggestion and initiative of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Golaghat Commerce College, and under the direct guidance of Principal Sir, Golaghat Commerce College, Sri Paresh Soikia. We have the pleasure to intimate you that today we have with us Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary Sir as the resource person. The other members of the committee comprising Principal Sri Paresh Soikia Sir, Coordinator IQAC Dr. Jibanjyoti Kakoti, Head of the Department Political Science Dr. Devajit Dutta, Head of the Department History Ms. Archana Nath, Mrs. Mondira Bora, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Mrs. Jyoti Rupa Bora, Assistant Professor, Department of History, Mrs. Manorama Soikia, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Mr. Pranav Pathori, Assistant Professor, Department of History, Mr. Porospotim Soikia, Assistant Professor, Department of History. We have a strong organizing committee headed by Mr. Rajesh Joiswal, Associate Professor and Head of the Department Commerce, Ms. Sonasri Das, Assistant Professor, Department of Accountancy, Mrs. Himadri Gogoi, Assistant Professor, Department of English, and Mr. Harmit Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commercial Law. And hope you enjoy your day and waiting to hear some good words from our respected resource person, Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary, sir. So now I request our principal, sir, to give his inaugural speech. After principal, sir, from IQSC, Ms. Himadri Gogoi will deliver as representative of IQSC. Over to you, Mr. Paresh Soikia, sir, Principal, Golaghat Commerce College.
Thank you, Bhaskar. Good morning to you all. Respected Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary, Associate Professor, MLSM College, Alan Mithila University, Darbhanga, Deputy Coordinator, IQ Commerce College, some members, organizing faculty members of Political and Department of History, Golaghat Commerce College, and my behalf of Golaghat College, I welcome you all to this national webinar on ethnic governance freedom movement of India, organized by Department of Political Science and Department of History, Golaghat Commerce College. The term ethnic, in a broader sense of the term, includes all ascriptive group identifier based on race, religion, language, caste, and tribe. According to this definition of ethnicity, India is the world's most complex and comprehensive pluralistic ethnic society, as it is home to a vast variety of castes, tribes, communities, customs, and living style. The multi-ethnic character of the Indian nation does not necessarily refer to the horizontal and vertical distribution of power. Many religious and linguistic group, which is a trend very much visible, but in primary refer to the Indian nation's state's capacity and flexibility to accommodate the diverse cultural identities which have guided the Indian state for conducting the process of building since its inception as a federal state, and its struggle for freedom in India has been a mark of political and economic factors that lead to the rise of nationalism. Freedom movement expanded from 1850 to 1947. I am hopeful that this webinar will be much more informative and beneficial for participants. Our resource person will enlighten us more in detail on this topic. With these few words, I declare the webinar open. Thank you.
Yes, sir, our Principal, Golaghat Commerce College. We are very much happy to hear from Paresh Soikia, sir, because he is a purely a member of a commerce stream, and he is very rightly said about the freedom movement and ethnic governance. So thank you very much, sir. Now I would like to request Ms. Himadri Gogoi as representative of IQSC, Golaghat Commerce College, to deliver her speech. Over to you.
Good morning,
Ms.
everyone. Yes.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Principal of Golaghat Commerce College, Mr. Paresh Soikia, sir. Esteemed resource person of today's national webinar, Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary, sir. Coordinator, Mr. Bhaskar Kakoti, sir. The joint conveners of today's program, executive committee members, members of the organizing team, and our global audience joining us today from around the world. On behalf of the coordinator of the IQ of Golaghat Commerce College, I welcome all of you again to this national webinar on ethnic governance and freedom movement of India, jointly organized by the Department of Political Science and the Department of History in association with Internal Quality Assurance Cell. It is indeed a pleasure to let you know that the Golaghat Commerce College community has been very responsive to the changes taking place in the academia over the course of these pandemic-filled months. We realize that despite travel restrictions and an uncertainty about reopening of educational institutions, the academic community wants continued access to knowledge and expertise and also a sense of connection. Responding to this need, the IQAC of Golaghat Commerce College has rolled out this initiative of a webinar series that aims to bring together informed perspectives on a range of topics from our global experts. And today we are honored to have Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary sir as a speaker leading a discussion on ethnic governance and freedom movement of India. We are all aware that the modern Indian Republic was born through the unification of many princely states, and this event perhaps has few parallels in the world's history of nation formation. The Indian Republic was constructed through the efforts of millions of Indians speaking hundreds of languages and practicing varied cultures. Today, it has become imperative for us to understand this essence of Indian freedom movement, this inclusivity that is the foundation of our nation state. What was the unifying message that brought together different ethnicities in conceiving our nation state? Or what could be the reason that today we have so many identities, assuming a space of difference within this nationalistic discourse? Our resource person is here to reflect on these questions from a better vantage point. So without further delay, I request our coordinator to hand over the session to our respected plenary speaker. But before that, we also have our respected Dr. Devajit Datta, sir, who will give us our welcome address. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Himadri, for your nice speech. And I now request Dr. Devajit Datta, Head of the Department Political Science, to give his welcome address. After Dr. Devajit Datta's welcome address, over to Dr. Professor Anil Kumar Chaudhary, sir, for today's lecture on webinar. In the meantime, I request all the participants, the dear students, the faculty members, and other eminent guests, to, if you have any question, then you can put your question in the chat box. Question answer session. Over to you, Dr. Devajit Datta, for welcome address. Dr. Devajit Datta, mic to on korok. Mic to on korok. It off হৈ আছে আপোনাৰ.
Hello.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Principal, Golaghat Commerce College, Mr. Paresh sir. Respected resource person, Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary. Respected coordinator, IQAC Golaghat Commerce College, Dr. Jibanjyoti Kakoti. Head of the Department History, Mrs. Archana Nath. Coordinator of the webinar, Mr. Bhaskar Kakoti. Member of the organizing committee, executive member of the webinar, respected faculty member, research scholars, and participants. It is my great privilege to welcome all of you for today's national webinar organized by Department of Political Science and History in collaboration with IQAC Golaghat Commerce College. The theme of the webinar is Ethnic Governance and Freedom Movement of India. In ancient time, people from all over the world were keen to come to India. The Persians, followed by Aryans and Parsis, immigrated to India. Then came the Mughal, and they settled down permanently in India. Genghis Khan, the Mongolian, invaded and looted India many times. Alexander the Great to come to conquer India, but went back after a battle with Purus. The Huns came and established their colonies in India. Lastly, the Britishers came and ruled over India for nearly 200 years. After the Battle of Plassey, 1757, the British achieved political power in India. A freedom movement in any organized effort within a society to promote or attain liberation or independence based on social, political, economic, religious, and ideological ground. The Indian freedom movement was a series of activities with the ultimate aim of ending the British rule in India. The movement spanned from 1857 to 1947. The first nationalist revolutionary movement for India independence emerged from Bengal. Today with us, our prominent resource person, Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhuri. He will highlight all the aspects of the webinar. Now I request coordinator of the webinar, Mr. Bhaskar Kakoti, to introduce our resource person. Again, I welcome all of you to the national webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Debojit Datta, Head of the Department of Political Science, for his welcome address on behalf of Department of Political Science and Department of History, Golaghat Commerce College. It's time to hear some good words from our respected resource person, Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhuri sir. Before his deliberation, it gives me immense pleasure to introduce before you today's research person. He is Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhuri, PhD, Associate Professor, Department of History, MLSM College, Allen Mithila University, Darbhanga. Previously, he was the director of Delhi Institute of Rural Development, IP University, New Delhi. He published a number of books and a number of research papers. He participated in UN conference in Thailand representing India, and also he was a member of international conference representing India at Thailand. A great scholar, a soft-spoken personality, our beloved Professor Anil Kumar Chaudhuri sir, and I request Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhuri sir to please give his speech, and waiting for you, sir. Over to you, Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhuri sir.
Thank you. Respected Principal, Golaghat Commerce College, Professor Bhaskar, Professor Himadri, Professor Archana, Professor Debojit Datta. It's my pleasure to talk about ethnic governance and freedom movement of India. I will focus on only a few important points. So let us start with the ethnic. Ethnic and religious identities in themselves do not create conflicts in governance. Such identities become problematic when access to opportunities in the political system in terms of power and resources are dependent on membership of a particular ethnic or religious group, as well as when the state is relatively weak in terms of capacity to protect its citizen and provide for their basic needs. While people may be aware of the tensions in inter-ethnic relations in the region, few know of the many innovative approaches that exist to promote multicultural harmony. These good practices can become a source of inspiration for strategies to address persistent problems. Now I will talk about the results after mutiny, or you can say the first Indian independence movement. The immediate result of the mutiny was general house cleaning of the Indian administration. The East India Company was abolished in favor of the direct rule of India by the British government. In concrete terms, this did not mean much, but it introduced a more personal note into the government and removed the unimaginative commercialism that had lingered in the court of directors. The financial crisis caused by the mutiny led to a reorganization of the Indian administrations, finances, and modern basics. The Indian Army was also extensively reorganized. Another significant result of the mutiny was the beginning of the policy of consultation with Indians. The Legislative Council of 1853 had contained only Europeans and had arrogantly behaved as if it were a full-fledged parliament. It was widely felt that a lack of communication with Indian opinion had helped to precipitate the crisis. Accordingly, the new Council of 1861 was given an Indian nominated elements. The educational and public works programs like roads, railways, telegraphs, and irrigation continued with the little interruption. In fact, some were stimulated by the thought of their value for the transport of troops in a crisis. But incentives, British imposed social measures that affected Hindu society came to an abrupt end. Finally, there was the effect of the mutiny on the people of India themselves. Traditional society had made its protest against the incoming alien influences, and it had failed. The princes and other natural leaders had either held aloof from the mutiny or had proved, for the most part, incompetent. From this time, all serious hope of a revival of the past or an exclusion of the West diminished. The traditional structure of Indian society began to break down and was eventually suppressed by a westernized class system, from which emerged a strong middle class with a heightened sense of Indian nationalism. On November 1st, 1858, Lord Canning announced Queen Victoria's proclamation to the princes, chiefs, and peoples of India, which unveiled a new British policy of perpetual support for native princes and non-intervention in matters of religious belief or worship within British India. The announcement reversed Lord Dalhousie's pre-war policy of political unification or through princely estate annexation, and princes were left free to adopt any heirs they desired to, long as they all swore undying allegiance to the British Crown. In 1876, at the prompting of Prime Minister Benjamin Disraeli, Queen Victoria added the title Empress of India to her legality. British fears of another mutiny and consequent determination to bolster Indian states as natural breakwaters against any future tidal wave of revolt, thus left more than 560 enclaves of autocratic princely rule to survive. Interspersed throughout British India for the entire 9 decades of Crown rule. From 1858 to 1909, the government of India was an increasingly centralized paternal despotism and the world's largest imperial bureaucracy. I repeat, from 1858 to 1909, the government of India was an increasingly centralized paternal despotism and the world's largest imperial bureaucracy. The Indian Council Act of 1861 transformed the Viceroy's Executive Council into a miniature cabinet run on the portfolio system, and each of the 5 ordinary members was placed in charge of distinct department of Calcutta's government. It is home, revenue, military, finance, and law. The military commander-in-chief sat with that council as an extraordinary member. A 6th ordinary member was assigned to the Viceroy's Executive Council after 1874. Initially, to preside over the Department of Public Works, which over 1904 came to be called Commerce and Industry. Though the government of India was, by a statutory definition, the Governor General in Council. The Viceroy was empowered to overrule his councillors if ever he deemed that necessary. He personally took charge of the Foreign Department, which was mostly concerned with relations with princely estates and bordering foreign powers. Economically, it was an era of increased commercial agricultural production, rapidly expanding trade, early industrial development, and severe famine. The total cost of mutiny of 1857-59, which was equivalent to a normal year's revenue, was charged to India and paid off from increased revenue resources in 4 years. The major sources of government income throughout the period remained the land revenue, which as percentage of the agriculture yield of India's soil continued to be an annual gamble in monsoon rains. Usually, however, it provided about half of British India's gross annual revenue, or roughly the money needed to support the army. The second most lucrative source of revenue at that time was the government's continued monopoly over the flourishing opium trade to China. The third was the tax on salt, very important. Also jealously guarded by the crown as its official monopoly preserve. An individual income tax was introduced for 5 years to pay off the war deficit, but urban personal income was not added as a regular source of Indian revenue until 1886. I have just mentioned here few facts, the form of important points, just to understand the ethnic governance. Just by concluding with my few words, that the ethnic diversity cannot be defined only in terms of categories employed by linguists and ethnographers. There is also the whole dimensions of self-definition by members of the group and outsiders, which is a much more important determinant of so-called ethnic-based behavior. As much as possible, therefore, the objective dialectic which many scholars emphasize should be consistent with the constructed reality, self-ascribed identities, or imagined communities of members of the group and outsiders to be valid. This is one useful way of assessing the validity of the various estimations. Only through the true federalism a strong nation can be built. Otherwise, to achieve nation building will remain only dream. Mahatma Gandhi says, when there will be righteousness in the heart, there will be harmony in the home. When there will be harmony in home, there will be order in the nation. When there will be order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. Thank you. Thank you for giving me opportunity to say something about the ethnic governance. Thank you. Over to Mr. Coordinator. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We have one or two questions from respective participants. One is from Nita. Want to ask you a question. What is the difference between ethnicity and race?
Okay.
What is the difference between ethnicity and race?
Okay. The next question.
Another one is, what are the good effects of British rule in India? What are the good effects of British rule in India?
Okay. So we can begin with the last question. The good effects, well, we know, which is called the lifeline, and that is the Indian Railway, which connects India. So in short, we can say this is the only good effects. And the first question, it was the ethnic and another word was
race. RSC.
Race. Okay. There is difference, but often we try to correlate with the two words. So, of course, the similarities are there, but ethnicity is something you mean say it has a vast meaning. It means one ethnic culture, your ethnic class or ethnic system. It means they are following their ancient beliefs, their own developed systems. They don't allow others to intervene. Rather, they try to establish their own rules. So that is, can say the ethnic. The race is some qualities, or you can say race is also, it represents a power. It represents, of course, group of people. That person or that group belongs from that race and that race. But this is in race is used in a limited. Okay, next question.
Okay. There's another question. Is there any significance of ethnic political parties in Indian politics at present?
No,
Is
now
there-
these days, yeah, okay.
Is there any significance of ethnic political parties in Indian politics at present?
In modern world, the best example, ethnic governance or ethnic government, we have the Chinese government. The China, the ethnic governance system, and now treated one of the few superpower, but it varies from country to country. So it depends on the people of country, which type of system they want, because sometimes we talk about China, then also we also talk about their dictatorial or a dictatorship, or you can what to say though, so different approach. Of course, China has developed or is a developed country. But if we talk about the human rights, then we shall think more and more. In our country, of course, without ethnic group, without ethnic approach, country can't survive. So all of a sudden, we cannot introduce a new system. We have to take the goodness or take the essence of these systems, which comes from the culture. This ethnic word itself says something that it represents a rich culture. So significance, it depends on the situation. Thank you. The next.
Thank you, sir. We have the faculty members of political science and history in this session. I request them to ask any question directly to Professor Anil Kumar Chaudhary, sir. We have Dr. Devajit Datta from political science, Archana Nath from history, Jyotirupa Bora from history, Pranab Pathori from history, Paraspatim Soikia from history, Monorama Soikia from political science, and Mondra Bora from Political Science. If they have any question, and then they directly ask to Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary, sir. Dr. Debojit Datta, any queries or any question?
Thank you, sir. Very nice presentation, Dr. Chaudhary, sir. Sir, what is the basic significance of Sepoy mutiny in Indian freedom movement?
Okay. You know, the Indian freedom movement, because we have just covered after mutiny, the whole, you mean the whole freedom movement, we have not covered it because it's a very vast field. It's a very vast. So all aspects of freedom movement or the significance of ethnic. Ethnic means just I have mentioned that the British government what did after the mutiny. What they did. Before that mutiny, the East India Company was doing their business. Of course, not only doing their business, they were in governance. So after mutiny, it was very important for the British government how to control, how to get India in a proper administration or in a proper system. So that's why the government of Britain, Great Britain, taken the charge. The significance of ethnic governance is the ethnic word itself is a deep-rooted word. It's a deep-rooted. It represents system. It represents culture.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this is like a what to say? This is a word one cannot can't define it. So you talk about the ethnic, then you can talk for months and years and years. So I think the freedom movement, of course, the freedom movement was driven by the ethnic forces from that side or from this side also, from India side and from the Britishers. So their approaches are based on the ethnic values. Okay, thank you.
Sir, one more question from Midu Praban Dole, sir. Midu Praban Dole. He want to ask you, did the ethnic rulers of Northeast India allow from Indian freedom movement? Did the ethnic rulers of Northeast India allow from Indian freedom movement?
Okay. I have mentioned in my brief paper that all more than, I mentioned that hundreds of rulers, and where initially they were not participating in such type of movement, but later on, maybe indirectly they are promoting the cause indirectly. because they were afraid of the rulers, British rules. But indirectly, they were supporting, because without their support, nothing can be happened. Nothing was possible, because their own areas, they were the masters. So I think directly they were not involved, but indirectly they supported. And Northeast, of course, the geographical factors, people still, we are this country proud of the Seven Sisters, proud of the rich natural resources. You know, India can't be, it can't be environmentally rich. The oxygens comes from the Northeast, not from not today, from ancient times. The oxygens comes from Northeast. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. One more question from Dr. Sandeep Bharpe, SSGM College, Kopargaon. Dr. Sandeep Bharpe, SSGM College, Kopargaon. His question is, sir, is there any relation between ethnic and communalism, how its impact over partition of India? I repeat the question again, sir. Sir, is there any relation between ethnic and communalism, how its impact over partition of India? Question from Dr. Sandeep Bharpe, SSGM College, Kopargaon.
Okay. Mr. Sandeep, both words has their own definition. Ethnic can't be communal. An ethnic person can't be a communal, because ethnic, basically the ethnic people believe in some values, but a communal person don't believe in any values. They believe in only the gains, only believe in the powers, the benefits. So the communal people are totally different from ethnic people. Anywhere in the world, if you meet any culture, any culture, we are basically we all are Indians, and culturally we are united. Culturally, because human values are the same. Maybe in practice, maybe different, but cultural values are the same. Human values are the same. So communal and ethnic, there is no concern at all. We can't compare with ethnic. We can't compare ethnic people with the communal people. So communal is different thing. It's a what to say, the person with all the odd things, that is communal word. So there is I don't think, in my views, I don't think there's any relation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any more questions from any participants? The research scholars, the academicians, or the faculty members? One more question, sir. So one more question from one of the faculty members of Golaghat Commerce College, Department of History, Mr. Pranav Pathori. His question is, sir, the topic is informative, but how the ethnicity or ethnic identity help to formulate the Indian administration?
That's a good question. Most important thing is, sometimes people say that a man is an institution, because any institution is created by a man, but a man of its type, a man of good qualities, a man of good knowledge, a man of good caliber. So these things never comes all of a sudden. It comes in years and years. It involves the whole family, the whole society. Without society, without family, one can't be raised to any level. If a person is in administrative field, if that person comes from a good academic field, we can expect that that person will do the good thing. So all the responsibilities, of course, if we say who is the responsible, the government is responsible, but who is the part of the government, who is the part of this country? The individual. If every individual is doing good, they are discharging their duties properly, only then we expect the good administration. In this world, so many countries are where the citizens of their country believe on their police. They believe in their own government servants. Of course, we also believe in. We are also law-abiding people. But if we don't get the good response, the proper response from the administration, then we should think more and more. Even our own country, all its states are not the same because of their culture. Of course, we have own culture. We are Indians. Our identity is that we are Indians. But the training which we are getting from our own family, the training we are getting from the society, the training we are getting from the schools, colleges, universities. In fact, it reflects in the field of administration. And sometimes, not only the person or the people, but the government is responsible. Because government's responsibility is to look after all the aspects of the governance. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The questions are coming, sir. One more question from Moirangtham Solomon. Asking the question, respected sir, can we correlate ethnicity and ethnic conflict as every ethnic race identity with a conflict? I repeat the question, sir. Can we correlate ethnicity and ethnic conflict as every ethnic race identity with a conflict?
Okay, good. We have a lot of examples. We have a lot of examples. But the causes for this conflict, we must think about the causes. What is the causes of ethnic conflicts? The causes are generally, the causes are, the first question is the survival. If the question of survival comes, of course, the ethnic people will be aggressive. The second thing is for the benefits, for the, or just to establish their power, just to influence the other ethnic people by their own supremacy, just to establish their own supremacy. So these things are happening. These things are happening at every level. Between the countries, we have so many examples, of course. But here again, we can say the power class. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. One more question from one of our alumni, Mr. Aman Kumar Khetan. He is one of the best NCC cadet of Golaghat Commerce College. He want to ask you the question, respected sir, how you will define the role of Assam in freedom movement? A simple question arises from Mr. Aman Khetan, alumni of Golaghat Commerce College.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Khetan. We are living in a free India. Of course, freedom movement is the golden past. We always try to learn more and more about our freedom movement. Assam, I have just a few minutes before, I said that we are getting oxygens from Northeast. Assam is a very important state. During freedom struggle, Assam, Bihar, Orissa, Bengal, I mean, the whole state was the one in a one administrative unit. So every state's participation is there in freedom struggle, in freedom movement. Every state was participating. Maybe some are more in numbers, maybe some more in contributions, but every state's contribution is very, very important. Of course, if I say the names, if we say the regional importance, if we say the states, all contributions, I think I can't do it properly, because even today, much is need to be worked on, which is not listed. So there is a need of to work on. You have raised very good questions. I think if you are interested in history or political science or maybe in any subjects, you must work on Assam so that the rest of the world should know more and more. My answer is the contribution of Assam is a very, very important, very, very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Aman, for your question, and thank you, sir, for your answer, proper answer. So one more question. It is directly related with history, sir. From Midru Pavan Dole. His question is, sir, did you think that mall governance of Mughal ruler are responsible for loss of ethnic governments to Britisher? I repeat the question. Sir, did you think that mall governments of Mughal ruler are responsible for loss of ethnic governments to Britisher?
Okay, fine. Okay, this is this question is not related to this topic, but okay. Answer is here. Answer, of course, the Mughal we accepted, not accepted. It was compulsory to accept the Muslim rules, compulsory to accept the Mughal rules, compulsory to accept the English rule. It was our compulsion. It was a compulsion of this country because those were the powerful. So because of the power, we are supposed to accept their rule. Responsibility is there, of course, because without knowing or gradually they establish their rule. Gradually they establish their rule in India. The English government or the East India Company established their rule in India. Maybe you can say the share of power, you can say the share of booty. So both were looters. So two looters, they tried to loot this country and they assemble at one point. Of course, they are responsible. We are not the participants. We have to accept their subordination or accept their rules. That is, your question is right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Probably the last question of the webinar. Sir, do you think that the freedom fighters representing Assam or Northeast not recognized properly in national fame?
Yeah, I have said, a lot of work is to be done just to discover in fact, so many hidden heroes are there. So many. Maybe I know it, but that is not documented. So need to be worked on. The case is in all state, but you have asked about the Assam, of course, because the hidden heroes are there. All the society people were involved. So the lot of work is to be done at the social level. Hardly we can find the only approach. The researchers goes to the jails or go to the archives and try to find out the documents during freedom movement documents. But that is not the only source of information. We can find the other source also. Our folk songs, very important source of information. The folk songs. Folk songs are not documented, but it comes from generation to generation, generation to generation. So this is one of the way we can work on, so that to give the information to the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are now moving to the last part of the webinar. It is vote of thanks. Is any question? Or we'll move to the vote of thanks session. Okay, we are moved to vote of thanks session, and I request Head of the Department History, Ms. Orsona Nath, to please offer vote of thanks. Over to you, Orsona. Permit side dialogue.
I offer my thanks and gratitude to our state for his delegation for the and for his delivery. I today to our honorable resource person. I think all the participants of this year's information regarding the topic and understood like you among us. I would like to thank and get you of the Department of English and the coordinator of IQAC Gulaghat Commerce College for his inspiration and advice for running the webinar. Thank you, sir. I would like to say thanks to Mrs. Mudi. Political science and coordinator of the webinar for his help and cooperation. Without whose cooperation, it would not be possible to arrange the webinar successful. I also offer my heartiest thanks to the organizing team of the webinar. I offer my humble that all the participants from different colleges and institutions to organize the webinar successfully. I would like to offer thanks all the members of Golaghat Commerce College family for their help and cooperation. Thank you everybody.
Thank you, Archana, for deliberation of vote of thanks. Finally, we are now conclude our session. Before conclusion, there's an announcement from team webinar. I request Ms. Sonasri Das and Himadri. Sonasri and Himadri. Is there any announcement? Ms. Sonasri and Mrs. Himadri.
Sir, I request our resource person to stay back for a while because we want to take a screenshot for our archives. And I request all the members of the panel to switch on their videos. Okay, I think we have the photograph, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Himadri. Now we are going to conclude today's session. My sincere thanks goes to Principal Golaghat Commerce College for all sort of help and guidance. Our thanks goes to all the members of Internal Quality Assurance Cell, Golaghat Commerce College, all the members of Team Webinar, Golaghat Commerce College, Head of the Department, Dr. Devojit Dr. Political Science, and Head of the Department, History, Archana Nath, for choosing me to moderate this webinar. And last but not the least, our sincere thanks goes to Professor Dr. Anil Kumar Chaudhary sir for his time spent with us. My thanks goes to all the academicians, all the faculty members, all the research scholars, my dear students, friends, and ladies and gentlemen who supported us directly or indirectly to organizing this webinar. At last, from Team Webinar, in the technical support, I wholeheartedly thank to Mr. Harmeet Singh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commercial Law, for his all sort of help. With this, we are now going to conclude today's session. This is the webinar, national webinar, organized by Department of Political Science and Department of History, Golaghat Commerce College, on the topic ethnic